He's very much so at peace at this stage of his life. And that's where you're headed to. And I hear 3 months. So in 3 months, I want you to look back at this reading in particular and remember the name of this episode. This is the crown chakra episode. So remember that, and I'm so sorry. Something I forgot to say in the beginning is that this is a part of a 7-part series. Oh no, I didn't. I didn't forget to say that, but, and that we are actually almost wrapping up. That's what I meant to say. We're almost wrapping up the series. Okay. But moving to the King of Cups. The King of Cups is one of my favorite in the tarot. Now, the women in tarot are my favorite, but the King of Cups, what I enjoy about him is how emotionally balanced he is, how calm he is, that he leads with empathy, that he thinks about how things affect everyone, especially those that he cares for. Remember, this is a king, so this is somebody who is over others and yet does not think about just himself. The King of Cups is what a balanced and evolved Pisces is like. So think if you have ever met a balanced or evolved Pisces, and I'm going to give you an example of what this looks like. I want you to think of how emotional the water signs can be. That's a stereotype, right? That they're so emotional. But if you've ever met any of them that are balanced, one thing that they're great at is not only controlling that emotion when need be, but listening to other people, empathizing with others, and they genuinely want to help you reach that same level of emotional balance. That is King of Cups energy. That is an evolved Pisces. And I'm not referring to just a Pisces, but of course, every time I look at the King of Cups, I pick up on big watery energy. And what I'm going to do, new moons, is I'm going to leave this part of the reading right here. And I'm going to end it with this for people who are tuned in here and not on Patreon. This week, I need you to not just lay the foundation, but to actually start to apply some of that foundation that you have put down towards your goals. Because you already started laying that out last year and at the beginning of January. Okay, so you were already working towards, I'm definitely picking up on, for some of you, there's areas of your relationship that are evolving. For others of you, I'm picking up on, there's a work goal. Some of you are definitely starting a business and you're needing things for this business. The money is definitely going to come. And that was where the Knight of Pentacles comes in at. And I need you this week to start to apply this because you're holding back. You're saying, okay, well, I need to do this. I need to save this. I need to buy this. No, now it's time to hit record. Now it's time to go look at office spaces or buildings. Now it is time to start putting yourself out there on social media. Now it's time to network. Now it's time to talk to your supervisor and say, I'm ready for a meeting with you, etc. It's time to start applying these goals. You're ready. The foundation is there. And lead always with empathy. Okay? That King of Cups energy is telling me this week, I don't care how much chaos is going on around you. Yes, pay attention, but also pay attention to how you're reacting to it. Stay calm. Stay very much so calm. And new moons, we're going to continue this reading over on Patreon, okay? Before we wrap it up, I do want to recommend some crystals for you, as well as go over how to tell if crystals are real. And I'm just going to give you a few examples of how. There are many. But some of the crystals that are good for your crown chakra are amethyst, clear quartz, selenite, and moonstone. Okay? And white topaz, that's another one I want to throw in there. I always try to give you crystals that are easier to come by, because you might go to a crystal shop that doesn't have the harder to find crystals. But you can also ask them, especially if they are a reputable crystal store or witchy type of store, botanica, etc., what they recommend for the crown chakra. I like to give you crystals that are pretty much sold everywhere. And you want to be careful about what you're buying though. So how to tell if crystals are real. And again, these are just a few examples. One is the temperature check. Okay, so real crystals feel cool when you pick them up. They don't warm up easily. Look for natural imperfections. For instance, do they have air bubbles? And every crystal is not going to look exactly alike. So if you see a bunch of crystals together and they all look exactly alike, that's kind of a dead giveaway that they are in no way, shape, or form real. Okay, so look for things like that. Natural imperfections. Air bubbles, for instance. Okay, hold it up to the light. If you see bubbles, it's probably not real. That's what we're going to look for. That's kind of a given, right? So crystals like quartz, like amethyst or clear quartz, they can actually scratch glass. So if the crystal gets scratched, but not let's say the mirror, then that's kind of a sign there. That is not real crystal whatsoever. You can use a UV light test. And when you go to reputable crystal stores, they should know exactly what you're talking about. All right. And crystals like fluorite and selenite, they actually glow when you put them under a UV light. All right. And the water test. Some crystals already dissolve in water, so do not put selenite in water and be surprised that it dissolved. If it's been dyed though, or if it's fake, some of that color might start coming off if you put it in water. Again, do not put selenite in water. And of course, the price can sometimes be obvious. If it's super cheap, that might lean towards it not being real amethyst, for instance, and these are just some ways. There are, many different ways that you can tell, and just be mindful of this whenever you go to crystal shops. All right. But new moons, brigada, for aligning with the frequency of the Lua Nova podcast. If you would like to book a personal tarot reading with me, or if you want to download free worksheets, if you just want to check out the Lua Nova website and see what's on it, you can go to the Lua Nova website at lua-nova.carrd.co. And there you will find all of the information you need, such as joining the Patreon. You can download the Patreon app on either the Apple App Store or Google. And from there, you would just look up the Lua Nova podcast, and you can join us over there for $5 a month. Okay. It is only $5 a month now. So there you go. I wanted to make it as affordable as possible for everybody across the board. And there are new episodes of this podcast for free every single Monday. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to cough. I need water. I've been recording for a long time now. If you are a Patreon member, I am about to finish this reading as well as talk to you about all of the updates that I had for this week, all the things that I wanted to chat about. So let's go meet over there. New moons for everybody else who is not on the Patreon. No worries. I will talk to you next Monday. Ciao. Wait. New moons, do the babe. Before you go, I do have some updates from the sacral chakra episode. Keep in mind that the crown chakra episode was recorded soon after, and that's why I kept referencing the sacral chakra episode instead of the root one. But the first thing that I want to go over is that I didn't really explain the moon water. So whenever you make your moon water, if you have a stand-in shower the way I do, and I take, I don't know how many showers a day, 2 to 3 minimum, then you can pour the moon water over yourself. I definitely recommend, if you're going to use that option, to warm it up first. And if you have an actual tub, then you can soak in the moon water. That's what I was referring to. But of course, like always, I got off track. So I'm sorry that I did not explain that well, but there you go. And personally, I use moon water to cleanse my spiritual tools, to cleanse my altar as offerings to the deities that I work with. So that is just something that I do, but it's up to you. If you also drink sparkling water, it typically comes in glass bottles. I definitely recommend saving those glass bottles for whatever moon phase that you want to work with. I always recommend the full moon and the new moon, because the new moon is very powerful as well. You can also use the waxing moon. The waxing moon is when the moon begins to look like it is growing larger. Okay. So I have talked about the moon phases many times, so I won't go over that again. The next thing that I want to mention is something that one of my team members was able to find for me. In the sacral chakra episode, I talked about being in your villain era. And if I already talked about this, I'm sorry. After I edit, I listen to the episode once and then that's it.